Two people are given the same 10 hours. The first uses those hours to complete 10 units of work. When the day ends, the income stops. Tomorrow, the same labor must be sold again. The second spends those 10 hours building a system that can sell the same result 100, 1,000, even 10,000 times. The work is performed once, but the payment continues. From the outside, this looks unfair. It may even feel like cheating, but no law has been broken. No one has been deceived. The second person simply understood a rule. The first never learned. Wealth is rarely created by working harder inside an existing game. It is created by changing how the game rewards you. Most people are paid by addition. 1 hour, 1 task, 1 payment. The powerful are paid by multiplication. One decision activates capital, technology, distribution, people, or systems, and the result expands without demanding an equal expansion of effort. Machiavelli understood that power does not belong to the person who struggles the most. It belongs to the person who chooses the terrain, controls the resources, and makes others depend on a structure he designed. Money follows the same logic. In this video, you will discover 5 dark rules for creating legal advantages so effective that, to anyone still selling time for money, they seem almost dishonest. You will learn why being excellent is not enough, why outcomes are worth more than effort, why distribution can overpower quality, why the same work should pay you repeatedly, and why the final prize is ownership. Watch carefully, because the first rule will challenge one of the most expensive beliefs you have ever been taught, that becoming better at what everyone else can do will eventually make you rich. It almost certainly will not. The first dark rule is simple: never compete where you are easily replaceable. Most people are taught to enter crowded markets, follow established paths, and become slightly better than everyone around them. They collect another qualification, work longer hours, and hope that excellence will eventually force the world to reward them. But excellence alone does not create power. If thousands of people can produce a similar result, the buyer controls the negotiation. Your employer can replace you. Your client can compare you with cheaper alternatives. And no matter how disciplined you become, competition keeps pushing your value toward the average. Machiavelli understood that victory often belongs to the person who chooses the terrain before the battle begins. A weaker army on favorable ground can defeat a stronger army trapped in the wrong position. The same principle applies to money. Do not ask, "How can I become the best person in this crowded field?" Ask, "How can I position myself where direct comparison becomes difficult?" Imagine 2 video editors. The first competes through technical skill alone. He cuts footage, adds music, and follows instructions. Thousands of editors can offer the same service, so clients compare them by speed and price. The second editor understands storytelling, audience retention, and direct response marketing. He does not merely edit videos. He helps businesses hold attention, improve conversions, and generate revenue. Both may use the same software, but they are not selling the same value. The first sells labor. The second sells a strategic advantage. This is how scarcity is designed. You do not always need to become the best in the world at one skill. Sometimes you need to combine 2 or 3 useful abilities that rarely exist in the same person. Sales combined with technical knowledge, financial analysis combined with persuasive communication, artificial intelligence combined with deep knowledge of one industry, negotiation combined with access to the right network. Each skill may be common by itself. The combination is not. And once your combination solves an expensive problem, your income is no longer determined by how hard you work. It is influenced by how difficult you are to replace. But be strategic. Rarity without demand is useless. A strange skill that solves no valuable problem creates no leverage. The goal is not to become unusual for its own sake. The goal is to become unusually useful to people who can and will pay. Begin with 3 questions. What valuable problem do I already understand? What complementary skill would make me more effective at solving it? And which group of buyers experiences this problem frequently, urgently, and expensively? Your advantage lies where those answers intersect. Do not spend the next 5 years becoming marginally better at something the market considers interchangeable. Change the terrain. Build a combination competitors cannot easily copy. Become the person whose absence creates a measurable loss. Because the market does not pay generously for effort, it can replace tomorrow. It pays for scarcity, consequence, and control. Yet becoming difficult to replace is only the beginning. If you continue charging for every hour you work, your income remains trapped inside your calendar. The second rule breaks that trap. The second dark rule is this: never let effort become the measure of your value. The world teaches workers to justify their income through time. They describe how many hours they worked, how difficult the task was, and how much energy they sacrificed. But buyers do not truly want your effort. They want a result. A business owner does not want 10 hours of marketing. He wants more customers. A company does not want weeks of cybersecurity consulting. It wants expensive threats eliminated. A client does not want 100 hours of financial analysis. She wants a decision that protects her capital. The more valuable the outcome, the less relevant your hours become. Yet most people price themselves backward. They calculate the time required, multiply it by an hourly rate, and present the total. This punishes efficiency. If experience allows them to complete the work faster, they earn less, even though their expertise has become more valuable. Imagine a factory losing $10,000 every hour because one critical machine has stopped. A technician arrives, identifies the problem, adjusts a single component, and restores production in 20 minutes. What should the factory pay for? 20 minutes of labor or the enormous loss that was prevented? The inexperienced worker sells activity. The strategist sells certainty, speed, and consequence. This does not mean inventing exaggerated promises or charging irrational prices. It means understanding the economic value of the problem before discussing the cost of the solution. Machiavellian thinking begins with interests. People act when they believe an outcome protects something they value or gives them something they desire. Your position becomes stronger when your compensation is connected to that interest rather than to the visible effort behind it. Before naming your price, ask 4 questions. How much money could this result create? How much money, time, or risk could it save? How urgent is the problem? And what would happen if the buyer did nothing? The answers reveal the true value of your work. Suppose a consultant improves a sales process that produces an additional $200,000 a year. Charging only for 40 hours of labor ignores the consequence of the solution. A fee based on the value created may be far higher while still remaining profitable for the client. That is why specialists who solve costly problems can earn more in a day than generalists earn in a month. They are not necessarily working harder. They are standing closer to money, risk, urgency, and important decisions. To apply this rule, stop describing only what you do. Do not say, "I edit videos." Say, "I restructure videos to hold attention and increase the number of viewers who reach the offer." Do not say, "I automate administrative tasks." Say, "I remove repetitive work that costs your team 30 hours every week." Translate your labor into a measurable consequence. But remember, outcome-based value requires credibility. You need evidence, judgment, and the ability to deliver. The greater the promise, the greater the trust required. Case studies, clear processes, guarantees with sensible limits, and demonstrated expertise reduce the buyer's perceived risk. Become difficult to replace. Then price the consequence of your solution, not the exhaustion required to produce it. Because effort has a ceiling, value does not. However, even high-value work remains limited if you must find and persuade every customer individually. The third rule reveals why controlling distribution can be more powerful than creating a better product. The third dark rule is this: control the path to the customer before creating more of what you sell. Most people believe the best product wins, so they spend months improving quality, adding features, refining details, and waiting for the market to notice. But markets do not reward invisible excellence. A superior product that no one sees can lose to an average product that appears everywhere. This is the power of distribution. Distribution is the system that carries your ideas, products, or services toward the people who may buy them. It includes your audience, email list, search traffic, sales team, partnerships, community, retail access, and relationships with platforms. Whoever controls that path controls attention, and whoever controls attention influences what gets purchased. Consider two authors. The first writes an exceptional book but has no audience, no publisher, and no direct connection to readers. When the book is released, almost no one knows it exists. The second writes a good book, not necessarily a better one, but already has an email list, a loyal audience, podcast relationships, and access to influential communities. Before publication, thousands of potential readers are waiting. The market may call the second author more successful, but the difference was not simply writing, it was controlled access. Machiavelli understood that power rarely depends on strength alone. It depends on controlling roads, alliances, information, and access to the people whose support matters. In modern business, distribution is that strategic territory. This is why platforms become so powerful. Creators produce the content, businesses create the products, customers bring the money. Yet the platform standing between them can influence who gets discovered, what gets promoted, and which transactions are permitted. If all your customers come through one platform, you may have income, but you do not have control. One algorithm change, suspended account, increased fee, or policy shift can weaken your entire position. Use platforms, but do not confuse access with ownership. Turn borrowed attention into owned relationships. Invite viewers to an email list. Build a recognizable brand. Create a community customers can reach directly. Develop partnerships that do not depend on a single gatekeeper. Record what your market wants, what it buys, and why it leaves. The goal is not to abandon platforms. The goal is to prevent any one platform from deciding whether you still exist. Before creating another product, ask, where will the first 100 customers come from? Who already has their attention? What channel can I build once and use repeatedly? And how can I maintain a direct relationship after the first transaction? These questions may be more valuable than another month spent perfecting the product. A person with distribution can test ideas quickly, learn from real buyers, and redirect attention toward new offers. A person without it must begin from silence every time, but distribution must be earned. Manipulation may capture attention briefly, yet trust determines whether that attention remains valuable. Deliver useful ideas consistently. Understand the audience more deeply than competitors do. Become a reliable source before asking people to buy. Do not merely create value and hope someone discovers it. Control the bridge between value and demand, because the person who owns the product can make a profit once. The person who controls access to the market can profit from many products, many creators, and many transactions. Yet even powerful distribution leaves one problem unresolved. You may still need to recreate the value every time you want to be paid. The fourth rule reveals the closest legal thing to cheating: building once and collecting repeatedly. The fourth dark rule is this: stop rebuilding your income from zero every morning. Most people work inside an unforgiving equation. They perform one task, receive one payment, and then the value of that transaction disappears. If they stop producing, the money stops arriving. This is not necessarily a bad way to begin. Active income develops skills, creates experience, and pays immediate expenses. But it becomes a trap when every dollar still requires a new unit of effort. The wealthy search for a different arrangement. They build an asset once, then allow that asset to deliver value repeatedly. An author writes a book once, yet thousands of copies can be sold. A software company develops a program once, then licenses it to millions of users. A teacher records a course once, and students can purchase it without requiring the lessons to be delivered again. A business designs one reliable process, then employees and technology repeat it across thousands of transactions. The initial effort may be enormous, but reproduction becomes inexpensive. That difference is the foundation of scalable wealth. Machiavelli understood that durable power could not depend entirely on the ruler's personal strength. Institutions, laws, alliances, and loyal structures allowed influence to continue beyond a single action. In financial life, repeatable assets perform the same function. They separate results from your constant physical presence. This does not mean passive income requires no work. That phrase is often used dishonestly. Books require promotion. Software requires maintenance. Property requires management. Businesses require decisions. Even investments require capital, judgment, and risk. The advantage is not the absence of effort. It is the declining relationship between effort and output. When 10 additional customers require 10 additional hours, you have employment. When 10,000 additional customers can be served with only a small increase in cost, you have leverage. Begin by examining the work you already perform. What do you repeatedly explain? What process do you repeatedly execute? What problem do different customers repeatedly pay you to solve? Then ask whether part of that value can be converted into a template, licensing agreement, digital product, subscription, standardized service, media library, operating system, or intellectual property. A consultant may transform a private method into a training program. A designer may turn custom work into reusable assets. A specialist may document a process and license it to other businesses. A creator may build an archive of useful content that attracts viewers and generates revenue for years. But do not confuse repetition with automatic success. A weak product repeated 1,000 times remains weak. A course without demand is not an asset. Software without customers is an expense. Content that depends entirely on one platform remains vulnerable. First, prove that people value the result. Then, standardize it. Then, build distribution around it. Only after that should you scale. This sequence matters. Many people attempt to automate something no one wants because scalability sounds more exciting than selling. But multiplication amplifies whatever already exists. If the foundation is strong, scale expands value. If the foundation is broken, scale expands losses. So do not begin by asking, how can I earn money while doing nothing? Ask, what can I create that continues solving a valuable problem after the original work is finished? That is the better question. Labor pays you for what you are doing now. An asset can pay you for what you built yesterday, and ownership can pay you for what thousands of other people do tomorrow. Build the asset, protect the rights, control the distribution, improve it with every transaction, because the closest legal thing to cheating is not avoiding work. It is refusing to be paid only once for work that can create value repeatedly. But even repeatable assets remain limited when they belong to someone else. The fifth and final rule is where financial power becomes durable. Own the machine, not merely a place inside it. The fifth and final dark rule is this: do not spend your entire life making someone else's machine more valuable. A high income can improve your lifestyle, But income alone does not create financial power. You can be highly skilled, respected, and well paid while still owning nothing. The company owns the brand, the platform owns the audience, the investor owns the equity, and the moment your labor is no longer required, your claim on the future disappears. Ownership changes that relationship. An employee is paid while contributing to the system. An owner can continue benefiting from the system's growth, even when other people perform much of the work. Consider two executives earning the same salary. The first receives only cash. He lives well, but every year begins with the same dependency: remain useful, remain employed, and continue exchanging time for income. The second negotiates equity. Her salary may be smaller, but she owns part of the company she is helping to build. If the business becomes more valuable, her wealth can grow far beyond her annual compensation. Both worked inside the machine. Only one acquired part of it. Machiavelli understood that serving power and possessing power were not the same. An advisor could influence important decisions, yet his position remained vulnerable because authority ultimately belonged to the ruler. Access created opportunity. Ownership created durability. The same distinction exists in financial life. You may manage assets without owning them, grow an audience on a platform that controls access, or build a business whose investors hold the decisive rights. Your contribution may be essential, but contribution without ownership can leave you powerful in appearance and dependent in reality. This does not mean everyone must immediately start a company. Ownership can take many forms: business equity, intellectual property, investments, real estate, licensing rights, profit-sharing agreements, or a brand with direct customer relationships. The form matters less than the principle. Some part of your effort today should purchase a claim on tomorrow. Before accepting an opportunity, ask, what do I earn immediately? What do I own afterward? Does my benefit increase if the system grows? And can someone remove my access without my consent? These questions expose the difference between compensation and control. But ownership also carries risk. Businesses fail, investments decline, debt can destroy weak assets. Equity that cannot be sold may be worth less than it appears. So do not chase ownership blindly. Acquire it in systems you understand. Study the incentives, cash flow, legal rights, concentration risk, and people controlling the decisions. Never mistake a certificate for power if someone else can dilute, restrict, or eliminate your claim. The goal is not to avoid work. The goal is to ensure your best work leaves something behind. Become difficult to replace. Price outcomes instead of hours. Control distribution. Build assets that produce repeatedly. Then use the profits to acquire ownership. That is how income becomes leverage, and leverage becomes financial power. Because workers are paid for what they do, owners are paid for what they control. And in the end, the greatest financial advantage is not earning more from the machine, it is owning the machine itself. The financial system is not designed to reward effort equally. It rewards position, leverage, control, and ownership. That may sound unfair, but refusing to understand the game does not protect you from its consequences. The 5 rules reveal a single strategy. Become difficult to replace by developing rare and valuable skills. Stop pricing your exhaustion and begin pricing the outcome you create. Control the path between your value and the customer. Build assets that can solve the same problem repeatedly. Then, use the income they produce to acquire ownership. None of this promises instant wealth. It requires patience, competence, discipline, and the willingness to think beyond your next paycheck. You may still begin as an employee, freelancer, or small operator. The important question is not where you begin, it is what your work is building. Is it only paying today's expenses, or is it also creating skills, relationships, systems, assets, and ownership that will strengthen your position tomorrow. Machiavellian thinking is not about deceiving people. At its most useful, it is about seeing incentives clearly, recognizing where power actually sits, and refusing to remain dependent through ignorance. Work hard when hard work creates leverage. Learn when knowledge makes you difficult to replace. Build when what you create can outlive the original effort. And own whenever ownership gives you a legitimate claim on future value. The goal is not simply to earn more money. The goal is to reach a position where your survival no longer depends entirely on your next hour of labor. If these 5 rules changed how you see work and wealth, subscribe to Money is Power. Because money follows value, but financial power follows control. The question is no longer whether you should work hard. The question is, what does your hard work leave behind? A higher paycheck can improve your present, but rare skills, controlled distribution, repeatable assets, and ownership can transform your future. So choose one rule from this video and apply it immediately. Identify the skill that would make you harder to replace. Rewrite your offer around measurable results. Build a direct connection with your audience or customers. Convert one repeated process into an asset, or begin acquiring ownership in a system you genuinely understand. Do not attempt everything at once. Choose the move that strengthens your position and execute it consistently. Then share in the comments which of these 5 rules expose the greatest weakness in your current financial strategy. Your answer may reveal exactly where your next breakthrough must begin. If you want more calm, strategic lessons about money, leverage, ownership, and power, subscribe to Money is Power and turn on notifications. The financial game will continue whether you understand it or not. Learn the rules, strengthen your position, and make sure the value you create eventually belongs to you.